The Fearless House Flipper Code. What's going on, my friends? It's your boy, Justin Wilmot. So in this training program, we're going to go over the essence of what it takes to become an unstoppable house flipper, to become extremely successful, and to gain the financial freedom that you're looking for takes some internal battles, okay? Now, you're going to hear me say this a few times throughout this training, but the most important piece of real estate that you and I will ever flip is the real estate between our ears. I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to add another word into that quote because I say it in both ways. The most important piece of real estate that you and I will ever flip is the real estate between your ears. The most profitable piece of real estate that you and I will ever flip is the real estate between our ears. Now look, what that simply means is the mechanics of flipping houses are extremely simple. In concept, you put a property under contract at one price, and then you market and sell the contract, or you fix and renovate the property and sell it for a higher price. The difference between the total debt in and the total sales price is your profit. It is not any more complicated than that, my friends. Now, where does it get difficult? Where do things go wrong? Where does it become challenging? Where does it become where you feel like you are stuck against this invisible barrier, this wall, this obstacle? It's just not allowing you to, say, acquire your first investment property, or flip your first house, or wholesale your first real estate contract, or get that relationship with that joint venture wholesaler. What is it that's stopping you? Well, in this training program, we're going to go over the extremely critical elements that you must, and I mean must have and know and understand in order to become successful. You see, I believe this. Anybody can flip a house and be a one-time hit or a one-time wonder. But to become a successful real estate investor and consistently flip deal after deal, multiple deals a month, to have reliable income, systematized, that allows you to have real financial freedom, takes a mindset and a paradigm shift, because the entire battle is within us. It's within the limiting beliefs that we have, the ego, the mindset of being too busy, or it's not, or I don't understand enough. There are the excuses continue to evolve with every new obstacle that comes your way. And in the business of real estate investing, it changes all of the time. Now, I would imagine if you're, let's say, a restaurant entrepreneur, over time, over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you're eventually going to know 99% of the problems that are going to arise. In real estate, you will have an absolutely new challenge all of the time. So it becomes absolutely critical to understand what we're going to talk about further in this training program, and that is your emotional intelligence. My friends, your emotional intelligence is infinitely more powerful than your IQ, than your intellectual intelligence. See, if you've ever wondered or looked around and see on social media, or maybe somebody that you've met or bumped into, or maybe even see them on TV, and go, how in the world is that person a multi-millionaire? How is that person living out their dreams? I am so much smarter than them. Have you ever thought that? Well, in most cases, you're right. You see, anybody that's living their ideal lifestyle, in many cases, not always, but in most cases, 9 times out of 10, actually, let's go ahead and call it 9.9 times out of 10, if there is such a thing, right? You don't need that in intellectual intelligence. See, point proven. 9.9 times out of 10, it is not the person that used any type of intellect. It is somebody that understands and grapples with and wrestles and overcomes the emotional intelligence. The emotions, the wave of emotions that come through somebody's body when they experience doubt, fear, worry, procrastination, and met with discipline. You see, it's those of us that wrestle and embrace the difficulty, turn fear into motivation. Those are the people that continue to succeed. And we're going to talk about that and give you the same tools that I used in order to become successful in this business. Now, the Fearless House Flipper Code overview, okay? And I want you to understand this is going to be very different. So, the Fearless House Flipper Code's truth. Again, the most important piece of real estate and the most profitable piece of real estate that you and I will ever flip is the real estate between our ears. Now, I also want to give you a quick warning. We're going to be talking about this throughout the training here, guys. Watch out for the positive thinking bandwagon. Do not, by any means, mistaken this training and what I'm telling you for simply just thinking positive or being positive or some new age spiritual rah-rah stuff. Everything that I'm going to be talking to you about throughout this training is 100% vetted science and human psychology. No theory. This is nothing but facts. That's that's what I do. I go upon facts. There are times when faith is going to help us, and we are actually going to talk about that towards the end of this training program. But we're not talking about any spirituality or any faith or any religions. This is nothing but facts that we're going to be talking about. Okay, another thing, shiny object syndrome. We're going to get into that into depth later on. We're going to talk about your productivity, okay? Both your morning routine, your afternoon habits, and your evening habits, writing out our goals. We're going to talk about the scarcity mindset, okay? The entrepreneur's true enemy. And then we're going to, at the end of this training program, I'm going to give you some extremely important and critical resources that you can use as reference for continuing your self-development and continuing to build your fearless house flipping code ethics. All right. Now, this, again, is not going to be just your typical positive thinking, hoorah type of presentation. This is nothing but factual stuff. So let's be clear here, my friends. This does start with positive thinking, but that is not all or what this presentation is about. Not at all, okay? We are indeed going to leverage the science behind thinking positive and thinking about what you want versus what you simply do not want. But this is not about thinking about what you want and that's it. See, thinking positive thoughts in the middle of a battlefield will not save your life. Let's say that one more time. Thinking positive thoughts in the middle of a freaking battlefield is not going to save your life. Understood? Okay? Action is the other side of that coin. Okay? So the two of them together will create chemical balances within any human that will allow you to get ideas, inspiration, passion, and motivation that will allow you to do things that you have never thought you were possible or capable of doing. You blend these two things together. The chemical balances of digging deep and getting extremely crystal clear in positive thoughts, positive thinking. Yes, I am a good speaker. Yes, I am fearless when it comes to talking to a seller. I am fearless when it comes to talking to buyer. I am adequate. I can hire virtual assistants. I can do this business. Mix that in with following it up immediately with one small action plan. And that's the thing, guys. It's all you need to do is just one small little action behind that positive thought, and it will reinforce and snowball in your subconscious. It only gets more powerful and more powerful. See, this is the important part. We call it the 5-second rule, and we're going to talk about this again a little bit later as well. But the 5-second rule, you cannot allow more than 5 seconds to go by without actually taking an action. So when we get one of those positive thoughts of, wow, I just got a moment of clarity. I know what list of buyers I'm going to go cold call right now. Or I know what list of sellers that I'm going to call. I know exactly what broker that I'm going to go contact. You cannot allow more than 5 seconds to go by before the limiting beliefs, that deep-rooted subconscious, continues to start talking and eventually is going to do what it does best, and that is talk you out of the good idea. You see, there's this science. This is primordial behavior. Your subconscious is designed to keep you and I safe. Again, it is designed to keep us safe. When something back in the very beginning of our time, when a snake would slither by or a spider, you see, those things are deep rooted in us, and we can avoid them and jump away from them instinctively without ever thinking a single thought. Why is it that if you turn to the left or to the right and somebody sees a spider, you jump immediately? But if you see a moth sitting there, you don't. It's because of that synapses connection that's happening in your brain so quickly. So this is not stuff like The Secret, okay? Now, for those of you who might know what I'm talking about, but there's a movie called The Secret, which started a trend about positive thinking. So what we're going to be talking about here is this is the type of stuff that The Secret leaves out. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, I still highly recommend that you do see it. You could probably rent it on Netflix or online and watch it on YouTube for free. Watch the movie The Secret. But we're going to be talking about following up what you learn in that movie with action. So we are positive and optimistic, but we are realists. Let me say it again. We're positive and optimistic about all things, no matter what, whether the economy is up, the economy is down, right? Whether you're having an issue with one of your business partners or not. You're always positive and optimistic, but you are a realist. You understand what you must authentically do and the results that your actions will produce, okay? We don't buy into dishonoring stories. We know we can, therefore we do. I'm going to say that again. We don't buy into dishonoring stories. That means that time, we spoke about that a moment ago, the 5-second rule, when you have a vision and you start getting really excited. Maybe it's in the shower, or maybe, you just woken up from a dream, or maybe you just woken up, or maybe it's in the middle afternoon. You got this great idea and you know exactly what to do. And then I'll be damned, within 5 seconds, you're already talking yourself out of it. That, my friend, that talk is a dishonoring story. Right now, you need to understand that all successful people know that they can. Therefore, we do. Okay? We don't just envision our goals sitting on the couch, because they're going to freaking take that couch right out from underneath you. Understood? See, we feel the fear and we do it anyway. We all feel fear, my friends. Fear is never, ever, ever going to go away. The trick is to learn how to dance and grapple with that fear. Roll around with it. Get dirty. Confront it. But eventually, you will learn how to cope with fear when it comes. Because you can live your entire life trying to avoid fear, and you're just going to be hiding your entire life. You will never grow. You must learn to feel the fear, my friends, and then do it anyway. And another tip, whenever you feel fear, it means you're about to grow. It means that you are about to do something worthwhile. You're about to change your life. Look, the primordial instincts that are within every single one of us human beings, that are in us from years and years of evolution, that kept us safe, that kept us from getting bit by deadly bugs or frogs or snakes, or running from freaking lions and tigers. The noises, those things that we've learned. You see, those types of things continue to tick in the back of your subconscious, and they control what you and I do. But it's the modern age. It's the information age. There are no longer elephants trying to mow you down, lions jumping out of the bushes to come eat us. things have changed, and we got to learn how to understand when that primordial habits are kicking in and when they are not serving us. In all reality, they're actually keeping us away from growing in the modern world that you and I find ourselves living in. See, we outsource everything that we're not good at. So eventually, we can just create. All right? Now, again, the Fearless House Flipper Code. A truth is, all really good real estate investors and house flippers, we outsource everything that we're not good at. And eventually, we get to just create. That means that we have to think big picture and grow our companies rather than stay doing the small tasks that can keep an individual, what I call a solopreneur, an individualistic one-man band that has done nothing but create a gigantic job for himself or herself. See, we always look for what and who we can leverage. What can we leverage? Who can we leverage? There are sources that I've talked about all the time, and it's throughout the other trainings in this program. But we talk about hiring virtual assistants from Upwork and Fiverr, and we use systems like FreedomSoft or US Lead List or YellowLettersComplete.com, and we use these other tools that already exist. We use people like Bird Dogs. We use agents and brokers to get us deals. You must always be in the mindset of who and what can I leverage in order to grow my business. Extremely important. Next point. We don't need $1 million in the checking account to live better than a millionaire. Now, what does that mean? Well, the person that continues to pursue, right, the million plus in their checking account, the problem with that is you're pursuing something you likely are never going, that is never going to make you authentically happy. See, instead, hear me out. You can live like a millionaire. You can live better than a millionaire. Because we can build a real estate investing business that produces X amount of monthly revenue. So let's say you need $30,000 a month to cover every single bill in your household. Plus you have an extra, let's say $15,000 or $10,000 to do, whatever major extra activities it is that you like to do. Plus you have an extra $5,000 to invest in. Right, and to put into the side in order to grow, maybe buy an apartment building at some point in the future, right? That $30,000 is a dependable month after month after month income coming in from flipping houses. That will allow you to live a lifestyle, a better lifestyle, something that this allows you to systematize your business. Right? This allows you to have a repetitive process where you can get people involved and start living the millionaire lifestyle. See, you don't need to wait and work 7 days a week, 20 hours a day in order to start living a better life. Feel vulnerable. Put yourself out there and ignore the naysayers in your life. This is really important for both seasoned investors and especially brand new real estate investors, people that are aspiring to get into the business and flip their first house. Okay, the moment that you feel, I'm going to go over this quote from Neil. The moment that you feel that just possibly you're walking down the street naked, exposing too much of your heart and your mind and what exists on the inside, showing too much of yourself, that is the moment that you may be starting to get it right. Again, the moment you feel that just possibly you're walking down the street naked, exposing too much of your heart and your mind and what exists on the inside of you, showing too much of yourself, that is the moment that you may be starting to get it right. Now, what we're saying there is, if you believe that you can become a successful real estate investor, that is the voice that you must listen to. The reason I chose this quote is because I've come to realize in the past 10 years of helping real estate investors and aspiring investors go from zero to literally quitting their job and making 6 figures a month is one major thing. Changing their environment so that nobody, family, friends, nobody has the opportunity to infiltrate and bring them down. And that, my friend, includes yourself. Think about that. Okay? Are you on the positive thinking bandwagon? So, my friends, there are people out there that say, I'm just going to think positive, think positive, think positive, and I'm going to eventually get what I want. Now, I am going to tell you to get off that damn bandwagon before you lose your dang wagon. The wheels fall off and someone comes and repos that wagon that you're sitting on. Okay? You need to get off before you get ran over. Positive thinking alone won't get you all the way. Okay? You must fight that scarcity thinking, absolutely, and you can fight it with positive thoughts, right? Things that are going to serve you. As soon as you feel scarcity or negative thoughts, you can now consciously change it. This is a fundamental understanding about human nature. As you feel scarcity, you must become consciously aware and change those negative thoughts with positive thinking. And then remember, you must back it up with some sort of action. Remember, within 5 seconds. You must immediately back it up with some sort of action within 5 seconds. Now, I understand that you could be out through grocery shopping or at one of your kids' recitals. It could be something very small, the action that we're referring to. If you think it has something to do with, let's just say, following up with a motivated seller lead that you just received and you just remembered, oh my gosh, I really need to talk to that motivated seller that I've been avoiding because they left me a voicemail. Then a small action, my friends, could be something as simple as taking, your app out on your mobile phone and hitting the little sticky note app and writing in as a reminder into your notes or into your calendar. Better yet, your calendar, your Google Calendar, which we're going to talk about in a moment. You can actually put it into that Google Calendar, the phone number, the name, and hold yourself accountable and defining the date and the time of when you're going to make that call. That is what that is. That is immediately following up that bright, clear idea that is correct, that is gut instinct, right? That's following that up with a good action plan so that you're actually making results. I promise you, that turns into a snowball effect, and life is only going to become easier and easier when you start building that discipline. Okay? So when there is a problem, it's because you need to change. You got to adjust. So calling it cool will not fix the issue. So anytime that you are pursuing this real estate investing business and the tasks that are involved in order to A, get a property under contract, B, sell that property for a higher price in order to make a profit, anytime in that process that there's a problem, you must understand that you have to accept the problem. You must understand that this is my problem, this is the procrastination, this is where I'm not growing. I'm not going to just pretend it's cool and run over it. I need to figure out how to fix this issue. Then, and only then, will you be able to move on to the next steps. So again, thinking positive, it's just a start, but it is a must, because it sets your intentions, my friend. Positive thinking leads to the intention and then gives you direction and confidence to take the next step. Again, see, positive thinking leads to your intention, and then that gives you the direction and the confidence to take that next step in the action. For example, if you know that you need to call back that motivated seller that left you a voicemail from, let's say, a direct mail campaign, and you've been avoiding it and procrastinating it, and the reason is because you're telling yourself a limiting story, right? That you don't know what to say, or that you don't feel like you have enough credibility to talk to that seller, or you don't know how to negotiate, or you're not a good blank, or you have a funny accent, or insert limiting belief, insert BS excuse. It's going to prevent you from taking the action. It's simple math, simple science. Once you understand how to deal with your emotional intelligence, the rest is going to become infinitely easier for you, my friends. Deal with the emotional intelligence. Be consciously aware of when you're telling yourself these limiting beliefs and these negative stories. And the rest is going to become unbelievably easier. See, those of you that become consciously aware and accept this information, accept this reality. See, these are facts, my friends. You may not like gravity, but you cannot argue it because it exists and it's real and you have to deal with it on this beautiful earth we live on. You can try to avoid it, but it's going to be really difficult and you're going to have a lot of problems. Okay? So these are all facts. So think about this. How much time do you have left on earth? You see, all of us have 86,400 seconds in a day. 86,000 seconds in a day. That's it. You're asleep for almost half of those. That leaves you and I with 43,000 seconds a day. What are you doing with every single second that you have, my friend? What are you doing? Every second that goes by, are you being profitable or are you making excuses? See, the truth is, we are only born with two fears. You can search this, Google search it. Do not take my word for it if you don't want. We're born with two authentic fears. One, the fear of falling. Everybody is supposedly born with the fear of falling. Two, every baby is born with the fear of an extremely loud noise. That's it. The fear of falling, the fear of loud noise. Everything else is created through our experiences. Everything else is completely manufactured and completely cultivated through our experiences as a child, as a baby, as an infant, as a baby, as a child, into a toddler, into a young adult, into adolescence, right? We are molded through our experiences, and the things that happened around us that we watch, observe, or things that happen to us is what creates our opinions and our paradigm, what we believe is right and what you believe is wrong. Well, here's the thing, my friend. You're trying to become a successful real estate investor, a fearless real estate investor that goes out and can start building a real business and flipping houses that provides for yourself, your family, and your community. Well, you need to start understanding that the only fears that are legit, that you do not have control over, which, by the way, you might have gotten over since being born, but the only two fears that you really, truly should ever actually have no excuses for is the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. See, when I read that statistic, I thought that was kind of funny because I don't have a whole lot of fear of falling. I jump out of airplanes, okay? Well, we're going to get into that in a little bit. See, I did have a fear of jumping out of airplanes, and therefore that's why I went and started jumping out of airplanes so that I could feel that fear and start grappling with it. Let's just go ahead and let me make that point for you right now. That is one thing that I want people to realize. Whatever your fear is, if there's something that I want you to challenge yourself as often as possible to confront that fear. So for me, I had a fear of small airplanes. So what I start doing, I am 35 hours into my pilot's license. And I used to be extremely scared of small airplanes. So now I've spent literally hundreds of hours flying my own small airplane, not my own personal airplane. I lease it to do the trainings. But I'm gonna have my pilot's license soon. It's all done through I'm flying a small Cessna. So you understand, my friends. It was something that I was fearful of, so I went and started doing more of it so that I could reinforce my brain that there is nothing to be afraid of. I must do it. You see, all successful people challenge themselves as much as possible. The fear of falling, that's why I went and started jumping out of airplanes. Okay? So, I'm not telling everybody here that you need to jump out of an airplane, full disclosure. So, you need to take into account and obviously be responsible for yourself. But I do encourage you to absolutely challenge any fears that you have so that you can start that progress and start changing it throughout life when it comes to your professional life. Okay. Now, shiny object syndrome, the aspiring real estate investor's absolute biggest problem. See, this falls into fear, but this is something that you're going to be able to relate to very easily. Shiny object syndrome, you must avoid it at all cost. Let me define what that is for you in case you don't know. When you've set your eyes on something and say, for example, I want to learn how to wholesale houses. I love that message. I love the idea, I love how it doesn't take any of my own cash or credit. I love how I can put a property in a contract, market that contract, and assign it or flip it over to another buyer for a higher price and make the profit in the middle. I love that idea. And then as time goes on, you get some emails from other people, and you click on that email, and next thing you know, you're reading into that thing or into that offer. Next thing you know, you got yourself saying, wow, I really learned how to want to be an online marketer. This sounds really cool. Next thing you know, you get an email about cryptocurrencies. And you go, wow, this flipping cryptocurrency stuff is a good idea. And then next thing you know, you start pursuing that, and it gets difficult and it gets challenging. And then you get an email, and you click on the email, it says, learn how to flip gold coins. And so on, and so on and so forth. When does it ever end? When does it ever end? So, everybody needs to understand that. One simple fact, that the shiny object syndrome can absolutely keep you down, and you must identify it and avoid it at all costs. You see, once you pick a focus, you must plant your flag in the ground. You got to put on those horse blinders and start getting tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is good, okay? You must unsubscribe to everything that does not pertain to your goals. Again, unsubscribe mentally and physically from everything that does not pertain to your extremely crystal clear vision and goals. See, shiny object syndrome has killed more dreams than you can imagine, derailing your vision, your goals, and focus off from something else before you have built and created the results that you desire is the biggest problem in today's society. You see, if you already became a successful real estate wholesaler, then it is okay to move on to learning how to become a successful buy, renovate, fix, and flip guy. And then you can start learning how to buy apartment buildings. And then you can learn how to do single families. And then you can learn how to do commercial. And then you can learn how to do hotels. But only, my friends, once you have built and perfected the one thing first, then we move on to the next thing. That is how successful people grow their companies. It's why so many real estate investors, like such as myself, I definitely don't want to speak for everybody, but why would a successful real estate investor that's flipped hundreds and hundreds of properties and flipped millions of dollars worth of real estate, why would I start training and helping other people? It's another element to what I do. I am adding to my real estate empire. Very simple. Okay, I would never start doing this until I've perfected the real estate investing business. Okay, so you are capable of your dreams, and that's just, that is just a simple fact. You are capable of your dreams. See, it's the focused energy that you put behind your intention that makes all the difference. This is how you see results. Committing to progress, not perfection. This is a very, very important part of the Fearless House Flipper Code. You must commit to making progress, not perfection. See, this is controversial, right? But it's also the contributing factor to most people who have seen success. You see, we understand that we must get it going first. See, we just do, and there is no perfect time. Perfectionism does it look right? Does it feel right? Does it smell right? Am I ready? Insert X in regards to perfectionism. If you're a perfectionist and you're listening to this right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Your perfectionism is going to literally keep you stuck. You must identify when you are being a perfectionist and let it go. See, you can do it now because it's going to help you get started, okay? And it's going to help you get in the arena. You'll never have the opportunity to perfect something until you get in the arena. You see, this is controversial. There's other quotes out there, and there's half of the people out there that will say, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. Well, the problem with that quote, the problem with that saying is most people just don't do it in the first place because they're waiting for the perfect time. They're waiting for the perfect environment. They're waiting for the perfect funding. They're waiting for the perfect buyer. They're waiting for the perfect partner, and on and on and on when that shit never ends up happening. You must decide to start right now, because when you do, and then you get in the arena, this is what's going to make you perfectionist feel better. Then you have time to perfect your thing. So if you feel like you really, really need to be really good at, let's say, negotiating with sellers, you'll have time once you're in the arena and you're actually getting seller leads in your inbox. I hope that makes sense to you. Practice the 80-20 rule. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Again, the 80-20 rule, okay? Being busy is not the same as being productive. 20% of the activities you do are going to be responsible for 80% of your income, okay? 20% of the activities you do will be responsible for 80% of your income. Make sure you have identified the things in this real estate investing process, right? Acquisitions, seller leads, buyer leads, negotiations, contracts. Identify what you are good at. I don't know. Only you know what you're good at within this business. If you're a phenomenal people person and you have no problem striking conversation with people, then that, my friend, is your strength. You should be spending all of your time doing that, because that is what will produce 80 to 90% of your income, not mundane tasks like book work or skip tracing or any of that type of stuff. Now, productivity, extremely important. I'm passionate about this. Your morning routine, very, very important. If you're just now getting started in this business and you want to gain real financial freedom, I want you to get up early. Okay? Champions wake up with their goals in mind. They are crystal clear. Another thing, and by the way, guys, everything we're talking about here is science. Everything is researched. This is not an ideology or a belief, okay? This is scientific facts that make you and I, human beings, more productive and gain more success. The gym, if you want to be more productive throughout the day, if you want to be more focused and more energized, you must get the blood flowing. Science, okay? Kill the snooze button. It no longer exists. Do yourself a favor. If you are using an alarm clock, which not many people use a traditional alarm clock anymore, but if you do, throw it in the trash tonight and go and get yourself an alarm clock that has no snooze button. Or take a knife, pop the button off of your alarm clock, and you no longer have a snooze button, okay? You're going to hate me tomorrow morning, but eventually when you start making money and become wealthy, you're going to love me. So you'll hate me tomorrow, but you'll love me later, and I'm okay with that. Full bottle of water as soon as you wake up. This is really important, okay? Most of the people, I think the statistics are around 90% of Americans are clinically dehydrated. Let me say it again, 90% of Americans are clinically dehydrated. You must wake up and drink a full bottle of water, okay? I want everyone to start green vibrance or juicing. Now, again, check with your doctor, check with your allergies, make sure there's nothing in there you're not allergic to, but there's a product out there called Green Vibrance, and there's a new product out there since I typed this up. It's called Green Vibrance Maximum. It's got 25 billion probiotics in it, and that, my friends, is going to help you give your body the formula that it needs, the energy that it needs. There's focus formulas out there. One such focus formula is called True Brain. True Brain, great product. There's all sorts of them out there. Go ahead and start researching what makes sense for you and what you're comfortable with and what you're comfortable with supplementing. Staying active, extremely, extremely important. So here's my 8-step process for maximizing efficiency and doing the right things. 1, I wake up at least 1 hour before you have to put the computer screen on, okay? Email is a mind killer. Do not wake up and check Facebook or email or anything of that. No screens, no computer screens, no tablets, no cell phones. When you wake up, you start your morning routine. Shower, coffee, supplementation, your green vibrance. And I tell you, I promise you, that will make a world of difference. Again, chug a bottle of water as soon as you wake up. 92.4% of all Americans are clinically dehydrated. Okay? It's impossible to run on all cylinders when you are dehydrated. Now, why would you and I want to go through life not operating at 110% when it can be something as simple and as cheap as water? Okay? Sometimes we're looking for this magic bullet, this magic supplementation, this magic thing, but it could be something as simple as water, all right? So write down the 3 to 5 things, no more, that are making you most anxious or uncomfortable. Again, 3 to 5 things that are making you the most anxious or uncomfortable right now. So those are often the things that have been punted from somebody's to-do list over to the next day and then to the next day. So right now, what are the things that you have been uncomfortable or you've been avoiding or procrastinating? Okay? Those are the things that absolutely must get done first thing in the morning. Again, as soon as you wake up, you do those hard things first. As soon as you wake up, okay? Brian Tracy calls it eat the frog. Most important, usually most uncomfortable, all right? Again, most important equals what's usually most uncomfortable, all right? Why? Because there's chances of rejection or conflict or debate, and people naturally avoid uncomfortable situations that can provide rejection or a conflict. You got to understand that you must confront those two things at all times, all right? For each item, ask yourself, if this is where the only thing I would accomplish today, would I be satisfied with my day? Again, ask yourself for these items, if this was the only thing that I accomplished today, would I be satisfied? If the answer is yes, then that's the thing you need to go do, all right? If the answer is no, you need to continue to keep moving on with those daily tasks until you've identified that one thing, okay? Will moving this forward make all the other to-dos unimportant or easier to knock off later, okay? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. Now, look at the items you've answered yes to for at least one of these questions, all right? Block out 2 to 3 hours to focus on one of them today. So what is that number one thing that if the answer was yes, if I did this, it will make my life easier? Focus on that one thing and block that time out on your Google Calendar. Let the rest of the urgent but less important stuff just stay. It's going to be there tomorrow. Again, let the rest of that urgent stuff, right? We think it's urgent. The reason I'm laughing is because we think it's urgent, right? All these other things on your to-do list. But you were the one that in this exercise, which hopefully you followed along and are doing, you were the one that identified the one thing on that list, right? The list of tasks that you need to do. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and start creating that list. And then you're going to identify the one thing on that list that if you did that one thing, it will propel you and your business forward. That, my friend, is the one thing that you're going to time block and focus on immediately. To be clear, block out 2 or 3 hours to focus on that one thing for the day, okay? This is one block of time, okay? So cobbling together 10 minutes here and there to add up 120 minutes does not work. You block out one time and you go and focus on that one task for that time, all right? If you get distracted or start procrastinating, don't freak out. Just gently come back to that one thing on your to-do list. Do not beat yourself up, guys, okay? We are all human. We all make mistakes. We can all fall off track. Do not beat yourself up. Regardless of how it might sound or what you've heard in other places, it's important to not beat yourself up because that can create a really a path that you don't want to go down, all right? Do not beat yourself up. Just accept the fact that you procrastinated or that it didn't get complete and then come back to it as soon as possible. See, most people never accomplish the one most important task of the day. So when you do this, this is very cool. You'll automatically be in the top 3% if you do this. You'll be in the top 3% of the world as soon as you start doing this one thing. You are immediately in the club of highly efficient and effective people. In time, you will be the person that others look up to. Congratulations. That's it. Okay? This is the only way I can create big outcomes despite my never-ending impulse to procrastinate. See, procrastination is huge, and we all do it. I am a huge, or still am, a huge procrastinator. Okay? It's entrepreneurs' not so silent killer. Okay? And I say not so quiet because we all know that we're doing it, yet you're not doing anything about it. Okay? So when you can handle the one must-do item and block out those lesser behaviors for 2-3 hours a day, this is how the majority of us operate. It's biology in the modern era. Okay? It doesn't take much to seem superhuman and appear successful to nearly everyone around you. All right? Remember, you're going to be in the top 3% when you do this. You just need the one rule. What you do is more important than how you do everything else. And doing something well does not make it important. All right? So if you consistently feel the counterproductive need for volume and doing lots of stuff, put this on a post-it note. Being busy is a form of laziness. Again, if this is very, very important, I'm going to take a 3-second pause so everybody can catch up. If you consistently feel the counterproductive need to do lots of things, what we call quote unquote busy work that makes you feel good. Okay? You're doing this, you're looking up phone numbers for buyers, or you're doing small mundane tasks that we can be outsourcing to virtual assistants for $5 or $10. But you're doing it on your own right now to make yourself feel like you're being productive. Understand that being busy is a form of laziness because you are avoiding what we just got done talking about, doing the one thing that's going to provide 80% of your income. Stop procrastinating the number one thing on your to-do list and start focusing on doing just that one thing that's going to move your business forward. All right? You will literally be a different person within a week or within no time, within days of starting to implement this process. Okay? Being busy is most often used as a disguise for avoiding few critically important but uncomfortable actions. Okay? Again, you're being busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm staying busy. So you can tell your wife, or you can tell your husband, you can tell your kids, or you can tell your boss, oh, no, I'm staying busy. I'm busy. But you're not accomplishing anything because you're avoiding the major thing. Okay? We don't like walking into what we believe is going to be uncomfortable. You should walk straight into uncomfortable situations. By definition, something's uncomfortable because you're not doing it, because you haven't experienced it. Well, there you go, my friend. If you want different results, you must do the things that you're not doing. If you want $30,000 from flipping a house, then you must do those things that you have not done. Okay? And sometimes that will include hiring virtual assistants, or talking to a motivated seller, or talking to a real estate investor, or finding a HUD broker, or finding a broker, or finding a good real estate attorney, or finding a good title agency. These are the things that you must do and have the conversations. See, scarcity is the enemy here. It drives business owners to doubt themselves and the value that they offer. Scarcity is the enemy. See, it convinces you that you're not enough, not good enough, deserving, privileged, whatever. It's all a story and it's all BS. You see, we all have these thoughts, but it's how we deal with them that makes the difference between where successful people are and where you want to be. See, if you want to be truly abundant, you can't just focus on positive thinking. See, when it's business as usual, you can't just focus on that. You must also condition yourself to identify and destroy the scarcity-based thinking that strikes at the most pivotal moments of an entrepreneur's life. Let me repeat that. See, if you want to be truly abundant, you can't just focus on the positive thinking. Okay? You must also condition yourself to identify and destroy scarcity thinking. You must learn to identify it and then destroy it. So again, the 5-second rule, when you start hearing those things, talking yourself out of something that you know in your gut you need to be doing, you must first identify, oh, I'm having that thought. I'm having those bad thoughts. Okay? And now you need to kill it. You kill it with positive thinking. You kill it with thinking about what it is that you want and what it is that you need to do in order to get that thing. Okay? So if you want to beat scarcity, lean into the discomfort of knowing your business's financial reality. Denial followed by the inevitable panic isn't a sustainable this is not a sustainable or effective strategy. Okay? Forget positive thinking and get real instead. Success will come. And then you'll have something to be really positive about. All right? Success will come. All right, so we're down to the resources. I hope those were some aha moments. I knew I threw some really foundational, extremely very important things on you there, all in a brief amount of time. But these are some resources that are going to help you follow up with everything that we just talked about. So for blocking your times, we had talked about the Google Calendar. I want you to all set up a Gmail email account if you do not already have one, and sync the Google Calendar with your smartphone and set up alerts. This way you'll be able to block out that one important thing that you must do. In order to collaborate with other people and virtual assistants, use basecamp.com. So I want you to plan out everything you're going to do for the year on basecamp.com, and now you'll see those tasks every time you log in, and you'll know whether or not you're doing those tasks or not. All right. For outsourcing, Fiverr.com and Odesk.com, as well as Upwork.com. The must-reads, The E-Myth Revised by Michael Gerber and Than Merrill. Again, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber and Than Merrill. I also want you to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I would also like for you to read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss if you have not read that already. Also, The 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. That's a really important book that talks about a lot of the dietary processes that we had mentioned earlier about keeping yourself productive and filled with energy throughout the day. Please do not discontinue or discount how unbelievably important it is to keep your energy levels up. Your energy levels, your goal should be to have your energy levels on fire. And I mean fire like never in your life. Because when you have the energy, you will be more productive. Promise you. Okay? How to Make Millions with Your Ideas by Dan Kennedy. Read as much as you can by Dan Kennedy because he's just awesome. Okay? So what are the takeaways here? All right? What are the takeaways to set you on your new path for success? Yes, stay positive at all times, but follow up that intention and vision and goals with immediate action. Positive thinking alone is not going to do it. You must follow up that vision, that goal immediately with some sort. Again, it could be any sort. Something so small as just putting it into your calendar, putting that vision, that idea into your calendar, or that task that must be done into your calendar and blocking the time. That's all you have to do, my friend, to get the ball rolling. That's it. Okay? Really not difficult, especially with, having the supercomputer in your pocket these days. Do not wait for the perfect time. Do it now. The perfect time will never exist. You must do it now. Okay? You'll be able to improve on it later. So commit to progress, not perfection. You'll have time to perfect it later. All right? Put on those horse blinders. Stay focused and do not fall into the shiny object syndrome. Again, put on the horse blinders. All right? Stay focused. Stay tunnel visioned. All right? See, there's in society, there's, it's the idea of, you heard tunnel vision has a bad connotation to it. It's not bad. It's necessary if you want to be wealthy. All right? You're running out of your only real asset, my friends, and that is time. So you must make the best of it. You have 40 some odd thousand seconds. So let's call it 40,000 seconds. And now let's add in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You only have 30,000 seconds. Seconds. That's all you have. So make the most of it, guys. Okay? Take care of your machine. Feed it only the best so that it runs at its best. Take care of your mind and your body. Feed it everything it needs so that you are running on all cylinders. So that is the code of the fearless house flipper. Take all of these things, use them, become a powerful person, become the best version of you. And when you start leveraging these very simple tactics, right, you will become a part of the highly productive, highly output. People that have large amounts of output in big businesses that are impacting societies, communities, their families, and themselves. You see, these are principles and tactics that are available to you that you can research any of these facts that you like, and you will see for yourself that it is very simple in this modern day and age to take any of this information, put it into your life, and start actually leveraging it as a cheat sheet, as a hack into becoming successful. All right? I wish nothing but the best for you, my friends. I am absolutely glad that you're here, and I look forward to helping you gain your ideal lifestyle.